All right, well, welcome to the webinar on entertainment law, why you need an attorney on your A team. I'd like to welcome our special guest, Richard B. Jefferson, Esquire, founding partner of Metal Law Group.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So just to give a little background on Richard, Richard practices in the areas of intellectual property law and business law and represents clients within the media, entertainment, technology, action sports, and lifestyle brand spaces. He began his legal career working at Virgin Records America and its Legal and Business Affairs Department. Thereafter, he held associate positions at McDermott, Will & Emery, and a boutique entertainment and sports firm. In early 2003, he co-founded Metal Law Firm LLP. Mr. Jefferson has extensive experience in putting together ventures, negotiating deals, managing intellectual property portfolios, and protecting brands with many different fields, including music, television, film, fashion and apparel, animation, e-commerce, video gaming, beverage, and interactive entertainment. Over his career, he's represented entertainers, athletes, and entrepreneurs in negotiations with major companies, including Universal Records, Universal Music Publishing, Capitol Records, EMI Publishing, Warner Brothers Records, Warner Chappell Music, Electronic Arts, PepsiCo, Disney, Nickelodeon, E! Entertainment, Comcast, NBC Universal, Nordstrom's, Sony Music Entertainment, Pioneer, Tap Out, Intuit, and OWN Network. So that is quite a background. Tell us before we jump into what the role of an attorney is. How did you get into entertainment law?
Well, actually, I started as a music manager before I went to law school, and I was down in Florida managing some groups, and they weren't getting paid what they were supposed to get paid, and I was just wondering, like, why are we not getting our pay? Because the contracts were so convoluted and hard to understand. So I took an interest in the law, and I was like, let me just figure this out, go to law school, and I really didn't plan on practicing at the time, but as you go through law school, your plans change, and I just really got interested in entertainment law in all the different areas.
Awesome. Okay, well, moving right along, tell us, because a lot of people kind of have these preconceived notions of what an attorney is, and maybe some of them are right, some may be misguided. We hear in the mainstream, attorneys overall kind of get a bad rap. But specific to the entertainment industry, what is the role of an attorney?
Well, an attorney in any role, in any industry, is to basically protect the client. And whether the client sees that at the time or not. So sometimes attorneys do things that clients don't understand because they're trying to protect them for the future. But sometimes that gets misconstrued as being overly, being deal killers. I hear that term a lot about attorneys because they really want to get down to the details. But that's kind of what you have to do because fast forward 5 years from the time you do a deal. If there's a lawsuit, you want to be protected.
So, that's interesting that you say that because I've certainly seen instances where there's a bit of, you get to deal fatigue and going back and forth over those little intricate points of a contract. So can you talk a little bit about that and maybe ways to avoid it or how you can move past it or communicate with your attorney if you're dealing with that?
Yeah, well, that's kind of where the art of negotiating comes in because, of course, you don't want to negotiate every little nitpicky point, because the other side's not going to give you everything that you want. It all comes down to being in compromise. So that's why it becomes very important for you to have someone who's experienced in negotiating, so you know where to pick your battles, and you want to pick your battles where the key rights are that you want to keep and the compensation and the kind of areas that are going to mean something down the line. Sometimes when I negotiate against younger attorneys, they want to negotiate things that aren't important. So, the other side is going to take advantage of that and kind of let them have those little points and then not let them have the big points. So that's kind of the art of it. And like you said, you can't negotiate everything. So it just takes a little bit of planning when you're negotiating a contract. It's something that might also speed up the process is sometimes I have my clients kind of negotiate the main points up front, kind of in layman's terms, with the other side, so those aren't issues. and then the attorneys can get down to the details. Because if you just start attorney to attorney, sometimes you're right, it can take 3 to 4 months to negotiate a long contract.
Yeah, with all the scheduling and everything too. So when you talk about clients working out those key items up front, is that generally like in a verbal agreement type of deal? Is it like a deal memo, short form type of thing? How does that look for you?
Yeah, it usually would start with the conversation. The kind of there's even a reason to go to paper, and once everyone agrees on the main deal points, then you do want to have a deal memo drafted up. Something short, but something comprehensive enough that the parties agree on the key things. And it's usually things like compensation, services provided, credits. The main things that are important in an agreement.